Hello and welcome everyone, Nicholas from Bicycle here, and this is the brand new Focus Izalco Max. Since 2019, the Focus Izalco has not really seen any major changes until now. Don't get me wrong, the previous model, which we already did a review on, was already a great bike. It was fast, light enough for steep climbs, looked sleek and had solid handling. But now already at first glance, it actually looks like Focus did something to the bike. For starters, and probably most noticeable, the look. Interestingly, for the latest version, Focus removed the large logo from the down tube, which to be honest, I'm not personally a fan of, as I actually liked how it looked on the previous model. This time around, they've opted for a more sleek and discreet look, and now just have a small logo on the fork, chainstay and the head tube. Let me know what you think about this in the comments. Also on the previous models, we usually saw solid colorways and different color logo, but now Focus has gone with this new split colorway on all models. So the main goal for Focus was to make this bike the fastest one they have ever made by improving aerodynamics and stiffness without compromising weight. So essentially making it more of an all-round race bike similar to the Tarmac for example, but with more of a focus on speed rather than lightweight. So what's new then? Well, for starters, the biggest change made to achieve this can be seen in the tube shapes. On the previous model, we saw camtail tube shapes, so round on the front and flat on the back. However, Focus has now introduced their own optimized truncated knacker tube shapes, a sort of mix between round and D-shaped tubing. This tubing allows head-on wind to be controlled better, especially when coming in at angles. Not only does it highly increase aerodynamics, but also the overall stiffness and weight. We can also see, for example, in the front end, we no longer have that fork frame overlap nub thing, but more a seamless transition. In the rear triangle, there is no longer that platform that we saw in the previous model, and the head tube is longer and narrower. Together with the optimized tube shapes, they have once again gone with the same D-shaped seat post and two-piece semi-integrated cockpit that we also found on the previous model. Although it is a great visually appealing and aero cockpit, I feel as though a fully integrated or one-piece cockpit would have been more in line with their goal of making an aerodynamic speed machine. The setup does, however, allow for easier maintenance and adaptability, and I am actually a fan of it. All in all, according to Focus, these new aerodynamic enhancements will save you 6.6 watts when going at 45 kilometers an hour in comparison to the previous model. This translates to 1 minute and 47 seconds faster over a 45 kilometer course. Also, a regular water bottle is now almost completely shielded by the new down tube, and using one will only add on 0.3 watts. Now on paper, this sounds great, and for the pros will definitely be beneficial. However, for the amateurs out there, you are not really going to be noticing this difference. But it is just great to know that the bike is faster. Then if you want more speed, you also need more stiffness. To ensure no power is lost when pedaling and that the bike does not feel spongy when sprinting out of the saddle, Focus increased the stiffness in the bottom bracket by 15%, the head tube by 8% and the lateral stiffness of the fork by 16%. This does, however, make it less comfortable than the previous version. The sacrifice in comfort just once again shows that Focus was really looking to create a pure aero performance road bike. They did, however, make a few changes to ensure that it is still somewhat comfortable. For example, they decreased the seat tube length, which allows the D-shaped seat post with a 15mm setback to flex even further and reduce vibrations in the rear, which is very noticeable. The tire clearance has also now been increased to 30mm, which will further provide some more cushioning when running a 30mm tire. Another noticeable difference is the overall geometry. To keep this bike agile and ensure precise handling and stability at high speeds, Focus increased the bottom bracket height by 6mm and steepened the head tube angle by 0.5 degrees. This provides a very safe feeling when handling the bike at fast speeds, but might take some time to get used to for beginners. With the steeper head tube, the wheelbase is also slightly shorter, providing a more nimble, aggressive and faster feeling bike. The stack is also 17mm higher due to the longer head tube, and you would think this would lead to a more upright and comfortable position. However, you are still sitting in a very sporty position. Not too stretched out, but more low, which is perfect for fast and direct riding. As I mentioned before, the Izalco is somewhat of an all-round racer, but it does slightly lag behind in terms of weight. However, even with all the enhancements in aerodynamics and stiffness, Focus did manage to keep the weight more or less the same as the previous model. For the 9 Series, the frame itself weighs 865 grams in size M, so 6% lighter than the previous model. However, the fork is 3.6% heavier, coming in at 398 grams. This is partially due to the increase in stiffness. Fully built up with Ultegra Di2, the Izalco Max 9.8 I have here in size M comes in at 7.8 kilograms. which is not fantastic considering many all-round racers with these same components are in the realm of 7.1 to 7.2 kilograms. It is definitely still light enough to take on steep climbs, but you'll definitely be looking more forward to fast descents where this bike excels. The Izalcos are once again offered in two different series, 8 and 9. The only difference between these two are the carbon layup and therefore also the weight, with the 8 series frame weighing 185 grams more. All models will come with the D-shaped carbon seat post and semi-integrated stem, which is available in 6 different lengths, so here you can really fine-tune the fit. However, only the 9 series will come with that aero and ergonomic Eastern carbon handlebar. In terms of group sets, all bikes besides the 9.7 model comes with Shimano components. Here again, the 9 series will feature more advanced Ultegra and Dura-Ace group sets, and the 8 series the mechanical 12-speed 105 up to 105 Di2. In terms of wheel set, we have 45mm deep DT Swiss ERC 1600 on the 9.8 over here, which is solid. My only head scratch here in general is why Focus decided to go with only 45mm deep wheels. Even on the highest end model, the wheels are 45mm deep, and this just doesn't align with that goal of creating a speed machine. But anyway. On this bike we have a Physic Vento Argo saddle and Vittoria Corsa Next tires. Nothing really special here, but good news, the RAT through axle system is gone and now you just have normal through axles. Price-wise, the Izalcos range from 2,999 euros all the way up to 8,999 euros with the Dura-Ace setup, which is very decent considering the high quality frame and components, and that a lot of the bikes nowadays with Dura-Ace would usually be around 10 to 12,000 euros. A standout version for myself and for those who are looking for something slightly more budget friendly is definitely the Izalco 8.9. For 4,799 euros you are getting the 105 Di2 group set and carbon 45mm deep wheel set. So is this bike for you? Well, if you're looking for a solid all-round pure aero performance road bike that has great handling, rides fast, looks great, will not cost you an arm and a leg, and a simple no faff bike, then yes, for sure. If you need a bike that is more climbing orientated, then in terms of weight there are better options out there. But make no mistake, this bike will get the job done. If you have the 22 model, then I personally would still hold out on buying the latest version, as the 22 model is still a great bike. But if you don't, then definitely go for the latest and greatest. If you are looking for a very comfortable bike that can tackle very long distances, then this is also probably not the best option. Well, there you have it. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful. If so, don't forget to like and subscribe. If you have any further questions, feel free to leave them down below in the comments. And until next time, peace.